Hello everyone! Please like and subscribe to our channel. There's 4448. That is a Cessna 172. That's what I actually started to learn in. And then that was back when I was in the Flying 20. Good club to join. There's two of the Pipers that they have here in Springfield Capital. And I thought this is great. This is a light flight helicopter coming in Springfield Capital. It's always amazing the optical illusion of the blades. They look like they're spinning very slowly. Obviously they're not. And I thought this is pretty amazing because he brings it all the way down and then he just sits there in that ground effect and just scoots all the way on up to where he wants to be, within 5-10 feet of the ground. So you can also see the gentleman over there, the fuel officer, kind of directing him in exactly where to go. He's getting a bunch of stuff in his eyes, I'm sure. And actually, he looks like he just kept on going, so apparently he's not interested in that helicopter, but that's stellar. Great FBO here in Springfield Capital. Next, we're going to go to me taking off. This is taking off from 3-1, which I always try and do because it's closest to the hangar. Of course, we have the belly cam here. So this was a flight that I took up to Peoria to go fly with Pilot Joe. And you can see the strut starting to depress and of course liftoff. I always love this shot right here. It's great. You can see the shadow of the airplane, see the runway, and you can kind of just feel the height that we get. Of course, here we are getting ready to take off. The top left dial is the airspeed, so when it gets to about there, that would be 80, and of course that's liftoff. So this is that same liftoff, just from a different vantage point, obviously inside the airplane. And we're going to switch back to the belly cam, and you'll see of course, the turn, the liftoff, and part of the turn, I believe. Beautiful day. There's the tower, of course, off to the left. I'm going to guess and say that's probably in the neighborhood of 500 feet there. Probably get closer to 1,000 as we get to the end of 3-1. And a friend of mine's house is down there to the right. We'll let him be nameless, but he's a local chiropractor like myself. Great guy, younger guy. And here we are turning over. You can see the Sangamon River. Just had a bunch of rain, so we're definitely doing some flooding there. And this is me on approach for 3-1 in Peoria. The nice thing about Peoria is the runway configuration is exactly the same as Springfield Capital. So if you're taking off from Springfield Capital and landing at Peoria, then you're always going to be landing and taking off probably on the same runway, because generally the winds are the same. Sometimes they can be different, but generally the same. So there's some comfort in that. And a lot of people ask me what I reach down and do. That's taking the flaps out. And I think this is the approach. It looks like the approach into Peoria. Lots of fields out here in central Illinois, as you can see there. Love the belly cam. And here we are, and of course, approach. And that definitely looks like Peoria. So, looks like we have the third stage of flaps in, which you don't normally throw in until you know you have the runway made. And there we are, touching down for Nice landing there. A little bit of a rollout. You can see the flaps going back to normal pitch. It just helps take a lot of the lift out of the wing so you can stop flying and start driving. You can also see the ailerons are set for crosswind. Here's Joe and I taking off from Peoria. He's pointing over to the left. There's some military planes over there, the C-130s. And of course there's our takeoff there. You can see that top dial, the airspeed, top left. Generally 90 degrees is about 90, going to be about 90 miles per hour. We usually pull back and rotate around 80 to 85. Beautiful day flying around over Peoria. You can see we have the river right there. So I went ahead and let Joe fly that whole time. And it was nice to just get to sit back and relax and, of course, take the sights in. He flew us around at 1,000 feet. And like I said, it sure is nice to not have to try to fly and look at everything. You can really focus on sightseeing, and it's always nice when you're in a new area. So I don't have a ton of airtime over Peoria. That's nice when you're there because you can just see new things you hadn't seen before. I think we did a couple of pretty good banking turns over Joe's house. His friend was in the back. Got some good pictures of his house. And let's see where we're going next. I think next we're going to be on, let's see here. Yeah, belly cam. I think this was probably the takeoff from Peoria with Joe. That's what I'm guessing. Let's see those struts and shocks as they decompress during that liftoff and rotation phase. Boom. There it goes. And very quickly we're up and away. And so pretty soon we'll make that right turn. And then here's the belly cam flying around over Peoria. We just went over a golf course. This is really a nice wooded area. You can't really see it as well, but it's a pretty big drop off from the left to the right. Almost a bluff there. You can kind of see it. Nice big house there. You can see behind them is a pretty steep drop off, which is a good idea in case that river ever floods like crazy. And hopefully they don't get flooded. Like I said earlier, we have had a ton of rain here in central Illinois. I think last week we got something like 4 inches. So, of course, the river's high. Everything is super high as far as the water table goes. And I guess I should have looked to see exactly what bridge that is. I'm sure I remember going over it on the way to the airport. There's that golf course again. Of course, we're 1,000 feet above it. And now we're headed north along the river, as I remember. It was nice just to fly that northerly heading up along the river. And like I said, sometimes just to see something new makes it all worth it. Of course, now we're back in the cockpit, and Joe is the one that's piloting. Occasionally he'll turn around and talk to his neighbor. I think her name is Cindy, as I remember. And Here we are, I think, again, doing some banking turns around his house. As I recall, they wanted to get some pictures. And more of that bluff area from the belly cam. Like I said, we probably went a good 30, 40 miles north, I'm guessing, before we turned around. And you don't realize how beautiful it is around the river there. And more of the flooding. You can see the effects of the flooding, lots of water everywhere. And let's see, next we're going to be, yeah, really green water. Those are cool. And then let's see what we have here. Guessing here, okay, so more belly cam stuff. Looks like we'll probably be on the next shot headed back on approach toward Peoria. Really gives you a sense of the height. And right there we're only, I think that's where we came back up, so we got up to 2,400 feet. Looks like we're on approach there for 3-1 in Peoria. And remember, there's a little bit of crosswind. You can see us tilting into the wind there a little bit, kicking in the rudder, and just holding it above the runway for a while, taking all the energy out of the airplane. So when you set down, you set down. There goes the flaps. And then here's our landing from the belly cam. Getting close, close, close. Flaps are obviously fully deflected. You can see that right wheel touches down first to account for the crosswind. And I think, yeah, okay, so here we are taking back off. I want to say that's me taking back off in the airplane by myself. I think I was on my way back to Springfield. And coming up on our next shot, here we are, me all by myself, obviously. So watch that dial on the top left. Again, that's the airspeed. So you can just see when it starts to come alive, and when it gets just before 90 degrees to the right, that's when we're going to start rotating. A little bit of a gentle pullback, up in the air, and away we go. Try to pitch for that same speed, about 85, 90 knots as you're climbing in your climb out. And here we are going over Springfield. Let's see, obviously track and baseball diamond there. I believe I'm on approach for 3-1 here. That would make sense. So here we are, me all by myself, doing a landing at 3-1. Some of you don't know this, but the runways are always named for the heading you're at in degrees. So if I'm going 310, then that runway is going to be 31, and so on and so forth. So I imagine most of you pilots out there know that. Maybe others don't. There's your nugget for today. And here we are on that final approach for 3-1. A little bit of a crosswind, you can see. Getting just right. I'm guessing that right wheel is going to touch down first. That was kind of a floater. We floated for a bit, but got on the ground. Papa always says, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. This is a picture of us on approach for 3-1. Picture outside window. There's Joe at the helm making it happen. Pictures over his house. And finally, the wind farm. Thanks again. Like and subscribe.